Have you ever had your period tracking app notify your dad? My dad got the notification at his company's quarterly board meeting. He was presenting revenue projections when his phone lit up. Rosalie's period is 3 days late. Time to take a pregnancy test? The entire boardroom saw it projected on the 90-inch screen behind him. I was in my dorm room, completely unaware that my cycle tracking app had just destroyed both our lives. See, 6 months earlier, Dad had insisted we share locations and emergency contacts after I'd gotten food poisoning at college. He'd set himself up as my emergency contact on everything: Uber, medical apps, even my grocery delivery service. What neither of us realized was that when I'd updated my period tracker to the premium version for better symptom tracking, it had automatically imported all my emergency contacts and started sending them support notifications. The first sign something was wrong came when Dad called me 17 times in 3 minutes. I was in my Victorian literature seminar, phone on silent. When I finally checked after class, I had 47 missed calls, 23 texts, and a voicemail that just said, "Rosalie June Fletcher, call me immediately." My stomach dropped. Someone must have died. I called him back, and before I could say hello, he whispered, "Are you pregnant?" "What? No, Dad, what are you talking about?" Your app sent." His voice was strangled. It showed up on the presentation screen during the Goldman Sachs pitch. I opened my period tracker in horror. There it was, under Settings Support Network. Share milestone notifications with loved ones. The app had been sending my dad weekly updates for months. He'd been too mortified to mention it, thinking if he ignored them, they'd stop. "Dad, I'm not pregnant. I'm just stressed about finals. My period's always weird during exams. The entire board thinks you're pregnant, Rosalie, including your godfather, and Janet from HR, and the Goldman Sachs team." I scrolled through the app's notification history. My father had received, "Rosalie is experiencing severe cramps today. Send her some love. Rosalie's flow is heavy. Remind her to stay hydrated. Rosalie logged PMS symptoms. Chocolate might help." "Oh my God," I whispered. "Oh my God, Dad, I'm so sorry." "There's more," he said quietly. The app, it sent a follow-up notification while I was trying to close it. It said, "Rosalie's intimate activity logged yesterday." I wanted to die, to literally evaporate into the atmosphere. The intimate activity was me logging that I'd used a tampon for the first time in 3 months after exclusively using pads. I tried to explain it was a mistake, Dad continued, but then your Uncle Terry said, "Kids these days share everything, and now everyone thinks we have some weird boundaryless relationship." The aftermath was swift and brutal. Dad had to send a company-wide email explaining the technical glitch, which only made things worse. Someone screenshot the email and it went viral on LinkedIn as CEO's most embarrassing tech fail. He started getting interview requests from podcasts about digital privacy in the modern age. Mom called me from her yoga retreat in Sedona, laughing so hard she could barely breathe. "Your father just sent me the most formal text I've ever received. It said, 'Please handle all feminine health discussions with Rosalie moving forward.'" My brother posted the screenshot in our family group chat with crying laughing emojis. Grandma replied asking what a period tracking app was, which led to Uncle Terry trying to explain, which led to Grandma asking why anyone would want to track their monthly visitor on the computer. The worst part came 3 weeks later when I went home for Thanksgiving. Dad couldn't look me in the eye. He'd started announcing loudly whenever he left a room, "I'm going to the garage for normal dad activities, nothing period related." At dinner, my aunt tried to break the tension by asking about my studies. Dad practically shouted, "Let's keep the conversation to appropriate topics only." "Period tracking apps are perfectly appropriate, Walter," Mom said, pouring wine. "Maybe if you'd tracked my periods, you'd have known when I was ovulating and we wouldn't have had that surprise third kid." "Mom," my brother protested. That's when I noticed Dad's phone on the counter. He'd covered it with duct tape except for a tiny window to see important calls. "Dad, you know you can just turn off notifications, right?" He looked at me with hollow eyes. "I don't trust any apps anymore. Janet from HR downloads them for me now and reads the entire terms and conditions out loud." 6 months later, Dad was invited to speak at a tech conference about privacy settings. He declined, but they used his story anyway as a cautionary tale. Someone made a meme. "This could have been prevented with one settings check." It got 2.3 million views. The app company sent us a gift basket with an apology and a year of premium service. Dad set it on fire in the backyard while Mom filmed it for her Instagram story. The video went viral too, captioned "Digital Privacy Victory Dance." I switched to a paper calendar. Dad appreciates this more than any graduation or achievement. Last week he texted me, "Saw an ad for period tracker apps. Had Vietnam flashback. Love you. Never discussing this again." The Goldman Sachs deal went through anyway. Apparently they found the whole thing humanizing. Dad's business partner said it was the most memorable pitch they'd ever seen. They still call him Cycle Tracker Fletcher at industry events. Mom framed the LinkedIn article in the downstairs bathroom. Under it, she put a sign, "Check your app settings, a family PSA." Dad pretends not to see it, but I caught him showing it to my new boyfriend last week, warning him about the dangers of oversharing technology. We never did turn off those notifications properly. Sometimes Dad still gets them. He just forwards them to Mom with no comment. She forwards them to me with commentary like, "Your father just learned you're ovulating. He's gone to live in the garage again." Family dinners remain awkward, but now it's tradition. We call it the incident and toast to digital privacy every Thanksgiving.